Hey there, everybody. Staying up late, watching reruns of Barney Miller, Adam 12, and Emergency. Seems to become a new ritual for me on a weeknight. When I was a kid, I used to watch Adam 12 and Barney Miller and Emergency. I had an emergency lunchbox, believe it or not. And actually, I was kind of embarrassed by my emergency lunchbox. I wanted something cooler, but I seem to remember when we went to the local department store to buy me a lunchbox. That's all they had left was emergency and like the banana splits or something. I selected emergency. I was lucky to have a lunchbox. But you know, lately I've been wondering a lot of stuff. You know, you go through life and you find yourself surrounded by lunatics, crime, crooked politicians, corruption, pedophilia. You see the earth being scraped dry of all of its resources. You see the skies covered with contrails, the skies crisscrossed with contrails. You know, you drive down the street, you see people getting mad at each other just because somebody didn't turn on their blinker or something like that. You see people getting in arguments in the line at the grocery store because they're taking too long to check them out. You see trees getting cut down to be replaced by just basically these ugly, boring box homes. Forests being uprooted to put in department stores, to put in God knows what these days. Uprooting the families of deer and fox and skunk and coyotes, only to have the people around here bitch and whine and complain because there's actually live wild animals in their yard eating their precious gardens up. Because the spoiled people that made these houses and live in them have destroyed the landscape around us. And I was wondering the other day, I mean, like, what if Earth was the Garden of Eden? What if Earth was the Garden of Eden? What if this is the mythical place that they talk about in the Bible? What if it was and we destroyed it? We were put down here and we just somehow decided to rip it apart. Humans ended up having some type of logical thought patterns and decided to rape and pillage the earth and the other beings upon it. Have you ever walked through the woods or the forest? Now, I know in Arizona there's not really any woods or forests, or in parts of Southern California. Unless you go up in the mountains, there's really not much down in that part of the world. New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, it's all pretty barren. But as you go further east into Oklahoma and Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, you start to see all the beautiful forests. What if this was Eden? We ruined it, and we just raped it and just destroyed it. What if everything that we've done here has been the destruction of paradise? I think it is. I think we've ruined paradise down here. None of us need half the things we have, and half is stretching it. You know, we probably don't need 3/4 of the things we have. Who needs really? Do we really need cars? Do we really need a car to jump into to drive somewhere to get something? I mean, there was a time when the pioneers that moved west across the country, they lived off the land. They gardened, they had gardens, they had farms, And they weren't selling this. This was for their own, sustainability. Why do we need all this shit? Cars and furniture and huge houses and TV shows and all this bullshit. We don't need any of this stuff. Did any of you ever ask yourselves, why do we all constantly need to be entertained? I mean, this started at the very least after World War II with the advent of TV and television. People would just, my family included, we'd all just sit in front of the TV set, just like I do right now, watching, back in the day, Adam 12, Star Trek, The Dick Van Dyke Show, Lucille Ball, Emergency, Little House on the Prairie, Happy Days. Then it became Seinfeld. We just sit there glued to the TV set. Like, why do we need this stuff? Who decided that we need to be completely and constantly entertained all the time? Everywhere you go, there's entertainment. There's entertainment in the drugstore. There's music piping in through the speakers. Classic rock blasting through all the speakers. Every restaurant you go in, you can't escape the classic rock. You go to the gas pump, there's music blasting out. There's Metallica, Enter Sandman blasting in the face as you pump your regular gas into your Honda Civic. Why do we need all this? Who decided that this is what it means to be human? We constantly have to be entertained, constantly need to be distracted. People are getting weaker and fatter and lazier. We've taken paradise and we've destroyed it. We've ripped it apart. We filled it with plastic bottles and cheesy sitcoms and terrible movies and pornography and rock and roll and rap music. And all it does is numb us. All it does is help us hide from the inevitable. Men and women living down here, everyone, especially men, desperate to get laid, desperate to have sex. Desperate. Every man I've ever known, every man. With the exception of my relatives, my father was a philanderer. I don't know about my brothers. But the men I've known as friends, everyone, it's all we talked about, getting laid, getting laid, getting laid, getting laid, getting laid. Let's get laid. How are we going to get laid? It seemed to be an obsession. It didn't seem to be. It was an obsession. But the bottom line to that obsession is that making love, having sex, is for making babies. It's for nothing else. It's not meant to be pleasurable. It's not meant to be extended beyond a few seconds of rapture. And then you complete the task and you hope a baby comes out of it. Or, in the animal world, have you ever watched two dogs humping or two cats humping? It's over very quick. Yet for some reason in this wonderful world of ours, men have decided that it should last forever. Women too. Women now think, oh, he doesn't last long in the bedroom. He must be a terrible lover. Well, biologically, we're designed so it doesn't last long. It's meant to be fast and quick. Get it over with and make another living organism. It's not meant to be some erotic extravaganza that lasts long into the hours of the night. But somehow, through media and Hollywood and pornography, they've decided to tell us all that if you don't last longer than 30 seconds, you're a lousy lover. My God. And women, oh my God, they're not having orgasms. My God, what's wrong with you? You're some type of horrible lover. Ladies, I'm sorry to tell you, but biologically, who cares if you have an orgasm? It doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't matter. Hey, TRG. Because the idea behind the consummating a relationship is making another human organism. And people have lost sight of that. And do two cats get together and screw and go, oh my God, that didn't last long enough, and then the female cat is stuck with eight kittens in a litter, and it's like, oh, that freaking guy left me to go bang another, what are you talking about? As humans, we've destroyed this beautiful place, this beautiful earth, this beautiful rolling ball of water and sky and trees in the name of lust, in the name of all this horrific stuff, war, rape, pillaging, lust, self-indulgence. And the one thing we've all forgotten is each other. We've all forgotten about one another. We've forgotten about friends and family. It's the truth. I see it all the time. I see it all the time. People going off because they're told that that's what they're supposed to do. You're supposed to go off and become somebody, right? But what if what you're meant to be is you're supposed to be loyal to your family and you're supposed to be there to protect your mother and your father when they get older? What if you're meant to stay around? As humans, we're supposed to stay in our own clan and just hang out. We're not supposed to be wandering off to California or wandering off to Alaska or wandering off to Europe to start a new life. It gets so old watching people try to fulfill their dreams. It's all about dreams. My dreams are being fulfilled. My dreams. I thought the same way when I was younger. That's why I moved to Arizona. I thought it was a place I could find a new life, find sanctuary. I found nothing out there. When it rained in Arizona, on the rare occasion that it actually rained, it looked just like Cleveland. It didn't look any different, especially if you're out in Glendale or in Mesa. The gray skies would roll in, the rains would pour down. It just looked like any other old dirty city that you'd be rolling up in Ohio. Except there'd be palm trees and cacti here and there. And people are convinced that they've got to be somebody, they've got to be someone. What have you got to be? I personally think that the basic idea is that we're all running and we're trying to hide from the basic thing. The basic thing we all run from is that we're mortal and we're going to die. Whether you like it or not, each and every one of us are going to bite the dust one day, and we're going to be 6 foot in the ground, or we're going to be sitting on somebody's shelf in an urn, and that's all there is to it. When you're young, you don't want to think about that, and you don't think about it. I never even thought about my mortality, even my own mortality, even after my father died, even after my mother died. I didn't think about me dying. It didn't start to hit me until within the last year, probably, that I came down with some sickness of my own with my prostate, and I realized I was pushing 60, and like the only person in my family that lived older than like 70 was my grandfather, my father's side. My father's father lived to be 82. Nobody else I know even came close to living any longer than that. So if I'm lucky, I'll get to live to be 82. Maybe I'll live to be 100. Who knows? I doubt it. But what if this was Eden? What if this was the Garden of Eden? What if this is, and we ruined it, and we just destroyed it? And it doesn't matter what we do or how much we pray, we're all destined for some deep, dark, horrible existence after this life because we ruined Eden. I don't know. And I often wonder if this is Eden, because when you're by yourself and you separate yourself from your friends and your family and your tribe, and you go walking off into the woods, if you have woods or if you have nature you can walk in, you go, wow, look at these trees. Wow, look at the river, look at the ocean, look at the water, look at the sky. And you're like, this is bigger than me. This is much bigger than me. Have you ever seen an oak tree here in the Midwest? They grow 100 feet tall, and they're like 20, not 20 feet, but about, I don't know, they're like 6 feet. 6 feet in diameter, maybe 5 feet in diameter. Beautiful trees. Beautiful, strong, mighty oak trees that stretch up and reaching towards the sun and the sky. And they're much bigger and mightier than you. But what are they doing? They're constantly creating acorns. And what are acorns? They're future oak trees. Everything in this life and in this world is about reproducing. Doesn't matter if it's trees or weeds or poison ivy or cats or dogs or humans. It's all about reproducing. But the one thing that we do as humans is we're not about reproducing. We're about destruction. We're about the opposite of reproducing. We're about destroying. What is that? Why are we always down here blowing things up and killing each other? These goddamn people in Israel and Hamas blowing each other apart each and every day. And I'm supposed to sit here and go, oh, the poor Israelis, oh, the poor Hamas. No. They're idiots. They're both idiots. Both groups of people are complete and total idiots. They're just killing each other because of land, allegedly, of religious differences, religion which was made by man. What if we just focus on each other? What if we focused on each other and our families? I don't get it. I've got a friend who's completely abandoned his family for no apparently good reason whatsoever. I've never heard anything from him as to if he was abused or hurt as a kid. His parents gave him a good life. They stayed married for over 50 years. They gave him everything he could ask for, a strong, stable home, financial stability. They never had to worry about a roof over their heads. They had all the things I didn't have. And when he left the house, he got married, and his parents have provided for his children. Their grandchildren have absolutely, in the process of paying for their college. Hundreds of thousands of dollars put aside. And this guy doesn't even make any attempt to come up and visit his parents. Never does. Once a year if they're lucky. Because he's off chasing some self-indulgent agenda for his children and his spouse and everything else. It's the most insane thing I've ever seen. It's crazy. And I look at that and I go, my dad was afflicted with a horrible addiction of alcohol. My mother was afflicted with it. She got sober. Her life fell apart. They got divorced. She thought she was free from it all, and then she got a job in a factory that ended up killing her. She did everything she could to try to make up for her shortcomings, for everything that she had done, what she perceived to have done wrong, to try to give at least me a good life, because my 3 older siblings had moved on. They had started their own lives with their spouses. But this guy doesn't care. This guy doesn't care. Oh, well, let's go start my own family, doesn't even attempt to come up to see his parents. Because what's happened in our society is that we have been inundated with messages from outside, messages from evil places of Hollywood. And when I say Hollywood, I mean the entire entertainment business. Music, plays, sitcoms, movies, all of it, anything. It's all putting bad messages into our head, telling us how we should be, who we should be, how we should act, what is funny, what isn't funny, the life we should live. And in the meantime, people ignore their families, they walk out on them, they abandon them, all for the sake of a better job or more money or a better lifestyle or better lips or better boobs or better butts. And in the meantime, somewhere down the road, each and every one of us are going to get sick. Each and every one of us, if we don't get hit by a bus or, get shot by a mugger on the street, we're going to end up in a hospital somewhere. I've seen everybody in my life, other than my father, who was murdered by his girlfriend. I've seen everybody else die in a hospital. And everyone around me is in a panic. They're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I got to live the life I want to live. So what if you live the life you want to live? And I want to talk about Mike Tyson, the boxer. If you've ever watched Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson was in his prime, in the beginning of his career when I was a sophomore, a freshman and a sophomore in college in 1984 and 85. And I see it prior to him. I grew up watching Muhammad Ali, and I thought Muhammad Ali was the greatest boxer. He had a lot of finesse. He was an actual craftsman at the art of boxing. You know, he could fly like a butterfly and sting like a bee, that whole thing. And I always heralded him as being like the greatest boxer of all time. I always thought he was amazing. And he put thought, strategy into his boxing. He wasn't just a brawler. And when I saw Mike Tyson when I was in college on TV, I always thought he was just a brawler. I always thought he was just this lousy bum of a brawler that just go out there and brawl. But I was young and stupid, and I didn't realize what Mike was. And over the years, I've gotten to watch Mike and see interviews with Mike Tyson. And I've seen his boxing matches, and this guy was a beast. He had strategy. He wasn't as purdy as Muhammad Ali. He didn't box like a butterfly. He didn't float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. That guy just went in. He had a great combo, and he would just knock the shit out of you. But as I've listened to this guy and I've heard interviews with him, he's a very smart man. And he said something in an interview I saw recently. I don't know if it's a recent interview, but I just saw it recently. He went to prison I believe he went to prison for raping his girlfriend. I can't remember her name, Robin Gibbons, I think. And he said when he was in prison for those few years, I think he was in for 3 or 6 years or something, he said that was the only time in his life he ever found peace. And the interviewer said, come on, Mike, you've got $30 million per fight. You're making all kinds of money. You had mansions, you had tigers, you had the whole thing. He said, yeah, but I didn't have peace. See, and when he said that, I was like, wait a minute. This is a guy that's been punched in the head. You know, if I got punched in the head a quarter of as hard as he's been, I would have been down like a ton of bricks. This is a guy who I thought was a punch-drunk lunatic, rapist, belligerent boxer, just a brawler, not a boxer. When he said that, I went, wow, that makes a lot of sense. He found peace in prison because he wasn't distracted by all the other crap in his life, you know. And he said when you got the money, if you don't have peace, you got nothing. This is a boxer said this. Mike Tyson said this. And he is so right, you know. He's figured it out. He knows that if you got fame, you got money, but you don't have peace, you have nothing. People down here don't understand that. I recently worked with an artist. I was working on a documentary with this person, and they said to me, "Oh, well, one day I'll be famous, and you can rest your laurels on making a documentary with me." And I was like, "Okay, right, whatever." You see, fame isn't the answer to anything. Fame just brings up more problems. And the chances of you getting famous for any extended period of time are extremely small. And here's a guy who had been punched in the head thousands upon thousands of times and beaten other guys senseless, who had realized that he had no peace, even though he had all that money. This is a guy who Mike Tyson, I'm referring to, had a horrible childhood, and he'd been in gangs, and he'd been in jail, and he had a lot of issues. But he thought through it all, you know. Most people don't know how to think, and they're just off for the glamour. They're off for the American dream, or if there's a British dream, or a Russian dream, or a French dream. Everyone's out for themselves in this culture, in this world. And that's destroyed the Garden of Eden. We had the Garden of Eden, we had it all right at our fingertips. Whoever the creator is, whoever made this, said, hey, I'm going to give these people cattle and horses and butterflies and trees and birds and trees and streams and oceans. Let's put them down there in this and see what they do with it. And all we've done so far is fuck it up. We've destroyed it. We're in the process of destroying this earth. And there's idiots on both sides of the aisle, Democrat or Republican or whatever you have in other countries, they're just raping this earth and raping their people. There's so many products as you walk down the aisles of the grocery stores and the drugstores and all of the quickie marts. Thousands of products that none of us need. I mean, how many of us really need chocolate-covered peanuts? Yeah, they're nice every now and then. But do you know how much money companies like Hershey's have made off of our addiction to sugar? While men, predominantly men, sit back with their feet kicked up on an oak desk, drinking a snifter of brandy, smoking a cigar, saying, I got those suckers to buy my product. It's the same thing we all do here on YouTube. We're all trying to get you to watch me so I can make money off of you. I would like to make money off of you a little bit, but honestly, I'd like to get somebody out there to think a little bit. You see, some of you are mad at me because I've gotten serious in this channel. Some of you think I'm an old man yelling at the clouds. And I'm disappointing you because it's no longer a fun place to come. Well, why do you think I mentioned the call center videos to begin with? Why do you think I brought those up? Why? Do you really think I brought them up to entertain you? I brought them up for two reasons. Number one, call center work is hell. It's horrible. Number two, I wanted to see if there was anybody else out there that felt the same way I did. I wasn't thinking about getting popular when I made those videos. The first few videos I made like 10 years ago. Never once thought about being popular. I just made them because I needed to vent, because I needed to talk about the hell that is a call center video. But what do you think is the other reason I did it? Because as I have said, if you work for a company and you watch how the greatest in the company, the C-suite people, the CEOs, treat the least of the people in the company, you know how bad that company really is. And that goes for all the companies. All the big corporations treat their call center reps, the least of the people in the food chain, like dogs, lesser than dogs. They treat them lesser than dirt. They're treated like garbage, like slaves. That speaks volumes for what that company is all about. It's not about the customers. It's not about providing good customer service. It's not about providing good employee relations. It's all about making money off of the backs of the slaves that work underneath them. I didn't make those videos to become popular. I didn't make those videos to become rich. I made those videos because I wanted the people in the world to know what an awful job it was. God-forsaken jobs. And all those corporations that are out there, the thousands of corporations that fill this country, just this country alone, are taking advantage of the mindless simpletons that reside in this country that will buy anything they tell them to buy. Cigarettes. And if you don't buy cigarettes, you buy those vape things that are poisoning you and killing you. If you don't buy vape things, you're drinking booze. If you're not drinking booze, you're shooting heroin. If you're not shooting heroin, you're smoking crack. Or you're smoking whatever you're smoking. What if we try to make this the Garden of Eden again? And we took care of each other? What if we step back from the lure of the popular life, pop culture, and we stepped away from it, and we just said, hey, I've had enough. And we turned off our TVs, and we unplugged our internet, and we actually sat down at the dinner table, and we just talked to each other. See, I was out today getting a prescription filled, and there was a woman, homeless person, standing in the middle of the parking lot. She was in front of my car, and she was oblivious to the world around her. Standing in the middle of the parking lot, she had a big floppy hat on and big oversized pink glasses on, and she was missing a few teeth. And she had, what did she have in her hand? She had a cell phone. And she was like, So this woman's life, you could tell she was homeless. She had a backpack and she had all kinds of bags around her. She was definitely homeless. She's well on her way to worse things than I've ever seen. And I'm thinking, where did she get her cell phone? And is that all she's thinking about is her cell phone? This is a woman who has no place to live. All of her belongings are on her back and in a garbage bag. Yet our society has told her that you need a cell phone. Nobody needs a cell phone. I don't need this. I'm recording to you on a cell phone right now. Do I really need to be talking to you? No. But I'm hoping that through this somehow, that I can somehow scrape through the dark, murky waters and reach somebody out there that goes, you know what? Maybe I need to just stop doing all this. I have a friend, my friend James. He and I had a discussion a while ago about Facebook. And I've canceled my Facebook account several times over the last 20 years. I've deleted it several times. He goes, just stop deleting it. Just keep it. Just don't go back on there. He says, that's what I do. And I don't think he's been on his Facebook account since 2022. And I go on Facebook every now and then because I keep thinking, well, if I post something on there about my art or my music or my books or anything I've done creatively, somebody finally will tune into me and go, oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that. No, I never get anybody on Facebook to watch my stuff. None of my friends or family. It's always an afterthought. I have to push it on them. Oh, you've got a YouTube channel? Oh, okay. All right. Oh, you write music? I didn't know you write music. Oh, I've only been doing it for 30 years. Oh, you play at coffee shops? Yeah, only broadcast it every every time I have a gig. Nobody sees what I do. Nobody cares. Facebook is a huge waste of time. Facebook, X, I'm never on X. I have 2 X accounts, I'm never on X. Instagram's a waste. I only go on to TikTok to numb myself by watching death scrolling, watching endless amounts of videos. But what if this was the Garden of Eden? What if this is what God put us here for sanctuary, and somehow our minds evolved and we decided to destroy it for profit? What if we're not supposed to be wearing clothes? What if we're still supposed to be wandering in the forest, hunting tigers and eating vegetables or whatever? We're supposed to be eating tree leaves and walking naked in the forest. What if this isn't how we're supposed to be? I don't know. I'm tired of it, guys. I'm tired of all this down here. I'm tired of the struggle, trying to find work, trying to find, when I was single, it was this horrible struggle trying to find a competitive mate, somebody to marry that wasn't completely insane. All the insane women I dated before I met my wife. Lunatics, absolute lunatics, people that talked to the walls, people that made up stuff, just crazy, crazy broads I dated. And I think about, all these guys I know, even to this day, that maintain that they're just these sexual creatures that are out just laying any conquest, any woman that walks across their path just falls at their feet and begs them to mount them, I don't get that one at all. I've met guys that are gorgeous that don't have the kind of conquests that they talk about as some of these other guys I know. They just will screw anything. Anybody will lay and open their legs for them. People are sexually delusional. The whole world is turned upside down, especially men. I'm not a big fan of men. We're the biggest, dirtiest dirtbags in the world. Men rule the world. Men rule sexuality. Men try to make women do these crazy things that women don't want to do. It's the truth. Well, you wear this from me, and I'm part of it. I used to be part of it all the time. I need you to dress like this and say these kinds of things to me before we can ever consummate the relationship. And it's all born from pornography. They got us coming and going, these people that run the world. They got us doped up with sex and religion and TV and pornography. And that's not a quote, that's a quote from John Lennon. They keep you doped with sex, religion, and TV. I mean, TV tells you what's funny. TV tells you what's sad. TV tells you what to be afraid of. TV tells you when to be scared and how to be scared. TV tells you that the weather is now scary. They had a fire today. They showed it on the news out in California. Even made a fire-nado. Oh. I've never heard of anybody being killed by a fire-nado, but now that's the big thing you got to be afraid of, fire-nados. Canada's on fire. Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, California, they're all on fire. Well, this happens every summer, guys. As long as I've been alive. I moved to Arizona in 2002, and there was a Sholo fires out there when I got out there. Huge mushroom cloud to the north of where I lived of fire. Arizona's been on fire for at least 25 years. Because it's dry. It's as dry as a bone out there. And if somebody starts a fire out there, that's all there is to it. It's over. Things catch on fire. The news media doesn't want you to think that. And now what are they doing? Here in the Garden of Eden, they're telling you a spaceship is coming from way out in outer space, and it's going to be here very soon to kill us all. They're angry too, and they're hostile. Have you heard that one yet? Where their angry, hostile spaceship is coming, and it's coming to America. It's not coming to Britain or France or England or Iran. It's coming to America, of course. And they've got all these people out there. They're like, oh my God, the aliens are coming. They're going to kill us. And you won't believe it. We still haven't figured out a way to get through the Van Allen radiation belt, even though they claim we went to the moon 6 or 7 times. But somehow the aliens from 1,000 light years away are coming to the Earth specifically to annihilate us and eat us, eat our bones and our eyes and our ball sacks. But the radiation coming through the Van Allen radiation belt isn't going to affect them at all. It won't affect them at all. They won't die at all. No. They've convinced us that we've gone to the moon and gone to Mars. We've got satellites roaming around Saturn and all this stuff. Did you see the video of the satellite that's going past the sun? They say, it's only within 2 million miles of the sun, but the heat within 2 million miles of the sun is like 4,000 degrees or 1 million degrees or something. Anybody ever question that? Like this phone that I'm recording to you on, if I have it in the windshield of my car while I'm recording a live session and the sun is beating on it, it shuts off within 20 seconds of being direct sunlight. But a satellite going up to the sun, oh, no problem. No problems there. No problem. No. We got the space-age material that absorbs all the heat. You're kidding me. You're kidding me? No, those satellites are perfectly fine. Come on, guys. NASA's the biggest lie. It's a money laundering scheme as big as the world. I don't know where the money's going, but it certainly ain't going to the moon or to Saturn or to Jupiter or to Mars. You're all a bunch of lunatics if you think we actually have a real space program. That's NASA should be called the National Shit Show. Call it the National Aeronautical Shit Show Association. Waste of money, waste of time. But hey, here in the Garden of Eden, it's all beautiful, isn't it? We got people fighting each other in the streets over chicken sandwiches. You got people killing each other over Chick-fil-A sandwiches. You got people jockeying for position in colleges that don't get you anything afterwards. The degrees you get don't even get you a job. You got people throwing their life savings away over bullshit. And yet we all think we live in this great dream, this great American dream here in the United States. They got you all duped. I urge you all to get out and explore your forests and your parks, your local park systems and the rivers and the skies. Start paying attention to your elderly parents that are dying. They need you. The whore down the street that can suck golf balls through a hose, a garden hose, doesn't need you. That kind of stuff is fleeting. Start focusing on your friends and your family and the people that really matter to you. Otherwise, your life is useless.